You are listening to You Restored with Dr. Kelley Reis. To listen to all episodes, visit libertynaturalwellness.com. On this episode of You Restored, we're going to talk about my biggest pet peeve, at least my biggest pet peeve as of now. Influencer. That word sends shivers down my spine, and maybe it does to you too. But I've been approached hundreds of times to get myself involved with brand deals or help a company sell more products. And I have said no every time. And there's a big reason in that. I've been approached so many times, and it's not something that I am willing to do. My thought process here is the minute someone pays me to say something, it is no longer my truth. It is no longer my teaching, but it is my job to sell a product. Now, I'm not saying all these products are bad or anything like that, but I'm no longer working for myself. I'm no longer working for my client. So I will never become an influencer. I am a naturopathic physician. My job is to educate. That is an absolute crucial distinction in how I operate. What I find is not that influencing is always a bad thing, but it starts to shift the truth to a degree. The version of the truth is based on the brand, not the person anymore. And that's really important, guys, to think about where this information is coming from. It's a crucial piece of information. Is it a financial arrangement, or is it background, credentials, training that is giving you this information? So I think you deserve better. I think you deserve to know the real truth, to be educated and not influenced. The majority of people think of influencer as they're tapping with their, doing their tippy taps with their fingers on the product. They've got the ring light, social media, right? That's your classic influencer. But what a lot of people are failing to see is functional providers are really, not all of them, obviously, but a number of functional providers have turned into influencers. Now, once again, I'm not saying they are doing wrong. What I'm saying is you have to have more discernment with what you're listening to, why you're listening to it, why you are being fed the information that you're being fed. Because a lot of these functional providers, they've gained your trust, they have all these followers, and these are quality people. A lot of these people have a really amazing training behind them and clinical insight, but they've gained your trust. And now all of a sudden, you're being told a specific supplement, you get the code at the end, and it's moved beyond clinical expertise. And it's been a little modified to get that paycheck. I'm just being honest. And not a lot of my colleagues, would be happy for me to necessarily say that. But I think we should all take a look at ourselves. Why are you saying what you say? Is it a financial arrangement, or is it solely background training, clinical insight? Once again, I want to reiterate, not all of my colleagues are bad if they're selling a product. This is a real belief issue for a number of them. They really believe in the product, but it starts to morph. that what they are paid to do will inherently change the information that they provide you. I don't want to be modified or manipulated that way. I'm a naturopathic physician. I'm not here to sell you a product at all. I want you to understand things. It's very important. And I think it's getting really insidious, slow moving in like tentacles into the functional world. It's everywhere now. Social media, what we're just non-professional influencers getting paid by brands to sell products, has become huge in the functional medicine world. And it's taking away from the training, sharing that clinical insight, sharing that clinical expertise. It's knocking down functional medicine, naturopathic medicine. In my eyes, it's knocking down the trust if you're trying to sell a product, in all honesty. So my question would be, if it's a supplement, would this practitioner be pushing so hard for the supplement or product if there wasn't a financial arrangement? Would they still believe in the product? I recommend products all the time, like certain flower brands. I love certain flower brands. I love certain coffee brands. And I don't get paid by any of them on purpose. Once again, this is a conscious decision on my part to not take money from someone to recommend a product. There's always a give and take there. When you start having that financial relationship and you are being fed the information to feed to others, to influence. I don't want to influence you. I want to train you. That is the distinction. That's what makes me different. With influence, there is that quiet financial relationship that morphs. It really does morph everything. It morphs it into what information they can share or not share. There is I feel like so many of my colleagues have become commercials, and I love them dearly, but I feel like they're commercials. I feel like I'm watching, if it's a social media post or it's a podcast or, a small little video, I feel like I'm watching a commercial, and it's disappointing to me. Are we physicians or practitioners first and foremost, or are we now commercials? And that's become a big disappointment to me, which is why I thought I'd bring it up today. Crucial distinctions are being made. Lines are being drawn in the sand. And once again, my decision to be out of that is purposeful. It's lucrative, guys. It is so lucrative. Influencers make bank on purpose. I see that when I'm watching something. I see someone's title, influencer. I think that is so absurd. I am here to convince you to buy something. That is what it's saying. That I'm being paid to convince you to buy a product. And once again, I want to say, I don't think that these are all bad products. I don't believe people are lying either. I do believe that a number of these practitioners or providers believe in the product, at least up front, believe that this is the best product. I don't think they're just taking every deal. I think that they do have standards. But little by little, it starts to change the truth. And the truth is no longer unbiased. The truth for them has become biased through the lens of the brand. And that's what makes the difference but have you ever noticed brands do not reach out to all providers or all functional practitioners? They reach out to the ones that have gained a following, because those brands are smart. These are not dummies. Those brands are smart. They are like, this person has gained the trust of 10,000 followers, 20,000, 150, 500,000 followers. I want to go to them. Look at the trust that they've built. I want them to influence all of those people, to convince these people that my product's great. And they don't aim for people who have small following or anything like that. They aim for, once you've reached a certain number of followers, that's when they really start to hit you. And there's a reason behind that, obviously. So everything I do not have affiliates. If I recommend a supplement, it's because I believe in it. My newsletters, I don't have sponsors. I don't want sponsors. I don't want anyone to convince me to push something that they're trying to sell. I don't want that financial relationship. My goal is to educate, not to influence. Influencing, to me, and really the definition, withholds the negatives. They're only going to sell you on the positives. There's no discernment. There's not going to be this idea of, my product does this, this, and this, all these good things. But if you have this, don't take it. Or if you feel this way, avoid it. Only how great it is. Education allows you to make that decision. Education is going to give you the pros and the cons. Influence gives you the pros. That's really important to remember. Absolutely important to remember. My goal is an educator. I want you to be armed with all the information to make your own decision. It's so important to be educated, not influenced. Because you may weigh the pros and cons and say, you know what, this isn't for me. There's no money in it for me if you decide one way or another. It is more important that you move forward in your health as an educated person, as I'm doing this because I weighed those pros and cons, and this is the best decision for my health. I work with my clients in that sense that, yeah, I think this would be great, but here, don't forget that this may also happen with whatever we're talking about, a product. So when you break apart why someone is talking to you about a certain thing to do, like I will recommend a GI map. I don't get paid by Diagnostic Solutions. I will recommend a Dutch, not because I'm getting paid by Precision at all. I recommend it because it's the right thing to recommend for the particular client that I am working with. So I avoid all affiliations. I avoid all brand deals. I avoid all sponsorships because I want you to feel comfortable in what I recommend for you and know it's not being altered or manipulated by any financial gain for me behind the scenes. And unfortunately, as I said in the beginning, the functional medicine world is full of influencers now. Full of influencers. You trust them. Might be a great product, though. I don't want to act like they're not a great product. But what happens after, 3 months? You're like, oh, look at all these. But you've signed a brand deal contract and you're obligated to keep pushing it so many times per week or so many times per month. And now you're doing it and maybe you don't believe in the product anymore. Too bad. Too bad. You're still under that contract, under that obligation to keep it moving forward. My ultimate goal is to train you to make your own decision. Your own decision. And that is sorely lacking in the holistic world these days, is the actual training to make your own decision. You should be self-reliant. Shouldn't rely on anyone to tell you what to believe, ever. And I want you to pay attention when you're looking at watching a podcast. Ooh, and I recommend this product. If at the end there's a code or a discount, or, a code in the bio to get something, I'm not saying don't get it, but factor that into your decision. If there is no code or no website to go with an affiliate link or something like that, pay closer attention. That's someone who is not gaining financially from whether you buy it or not. Because you really have to think, would the practitioner push that product as hard if they weren't having a financial gain from it? It's food for thought, right? You really have to look into it. You have to factor these things into it. It has become my absolute pet peeve. My colleagues in functional medicine world may not be doing the tippy taps on the product like you see online, but it's still influencing, and it's actually probably much more subtle than you would ever realize. Wow, this doctor who I really believe in, trust their clinical insight, thinks this product's great, then I'm going to buy it. Might be okay for you. Just look into it more deeply. Look into it more deeply. Understand when you're being influenced. Understand when you're being educated. You're smart enough to know the difference, and you deserve to know how to get that data from someone. You deserve to know, are you being manipulated, influenced, or are you just being educated? Look to people who educate, because that is not a financial gain. They are in it. We are in it to help our clients move forward in a self-reliant, self-sufficient way. So, Dr. Kelley, this is you restored. Make sure you're doing the real work and look into all of those who are influencing you.